What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk presents Up, Up, and Away, the Journey to James Gunn's Superman episode 3. We're on episode 3 right now. There hasn't been a whole lot of news, but there has been some news. And I kind of like that, Jack, because with Comic-Con, I thought we were going to get like a slew of maybe even a teaser or something, but they're keeping it quiet, which I like.
Well, they wrapped. When did they wrap production? A month ago? 2 months ago?
Last month they wrapped production. I have it right
So,
here.
so what we have been getting are some official cast images in costume and some maybe. Oops, did I say something when I was on a carpet walking through a thing? And that's the interesting information. Like the hot girl said something really, really interesting the other
What?
day in an interview.
What she say?
Oh, you don't know? Okay, okay.
I don't
She
know.
she was asked the question because everyone's been hating on their costumes, right?
Yeah.
And the of how bad their costumes is that totally intentional, and that
Well, this
there's
is
gonna be a lot of redemption.
well to me
No,
like
well, what I mean intentional is right now they're probably Justice League International run by Maxwell Lord, and
hmm
they're out of sync with their city and stuff. That's why their costumes are clunky and they don't look well and don't fit well and they're not the image we know of these characters, right? And so she was asked about her costume and she kind of let slip that there's another helmet that she wears, a mask. She was talking about how cool it was, and she goes, it makes sense with the timeline that we're seeing things. And so she kind of used that word timeline, which leads you to believe that something's going to happen in the events that are going to we're going to see these characters probably in their more traditional outfits that we know and want to see them in. And right now they're working for a turd,
yeah.
and they're not going to probably be working for him the whole time. Something's going to happen in the film that
The
releases them from that. And it's also why, did you see that moving image of Superman?
hmm
And so what happens is the other heroes walk by and everyone's kind of like they're not in sync with them, right? But they see Superman and he
yeah.
really reflects it. And the other thing we have been seeing a lot of with the costumes is this film seems to be set in a vintage future or modern day, but it's got this real vintage retro
It's
vibe, and that's why
future retro.
like
Yes.
it's future retro exactly. And so like they're gonna have retro looks, but it's gonna have future technology probably. You know what I mean? And so that's why Jimmy
Well, okay,
Olsen's costume is great.
I'm
Like
so
Jimmy
glad you
Olsen's
brought that
costume
up.
is so retro, right?
I'm so glad you brought that up. So I want to show you something. I want to show you something since you're talking about future retro. And yes, I think that's the theory. I think there's a reason why when we're talking about kind of retro and you see Superman and his suit's kind of clunky and colorful, he represents the times. But the
Right.
other heroes, Maxwell Lord, like kind of like Apple, like no, it's all clean and it's white. They're not
Right.
they're disconnected from the world they're in. And I think
Yeah, the
that that's
people.
intentional. The people. Right.
I think so too. Yeah.
Um, let me show you this. Uh Well, since we're talking about Jimmy Olsen, that's a big takeaway. And on the anniversary of Jimmy Olsen's debut in the comics, James Gunn gave us an official photo of, the Jimmy Olsen boom.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, like his costume looks
Yeah.
old but new.
I mean, it's got
Um,
a it's got a 70s 80s vibe to it,
yeah.
you know.
And since we're old, to us that's not classic,
No,
but to most
it,
people,
it feels good. It feels good, and it feels exactly like that the comic book reference image you just showed.
well,
Just
yeah.
like they put a little red in his hair, which is nice. He
I
just
think he has
exudes.
freckles too. He might have freckles.
Well, how would they not if they're going this far? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean he just exudes Olsen.
Yeah.
He's not the
And
Leo, but
He's not your Leonardo DiCaprio version, no. But what's interesting, I mean, and I want to show you this. Hold on. Again, a pop up. I want to show you this because we've had, several Jimmy Olsens before, and they're all been good in their own right. We've had,
mm-hmm.
the classic series, the movies, obviously Lois and Clark, Smallville, Superman Returns, and the one of the biggest departures was Supergirl, but his James Olsen fit in that world. I don't
Yeah.
have the CIA agent who gets shot in the head. We're going to pretend like he doesn't exist.
Why, man? Why pretend?
But they all. So this Jimmy Olsen, I feel like follows suit, and if anything, he seems really superior in his look. And I think,
He seems perfect.
but even the thumbs up and the smile, like James Gunn is telling us the tone of the film. He's like,
Well,
this is going to feel
did
like a
you
comic.
James Gunn said something. It's two things really interesting. Did you see the picture he posted when they wrapped?
Of them in at a cabin in the
Yeah.
snow. Yes, I want to read that to you. Actually, I'm glad we're
Oh,
here.
good, because I was going to read it to you. No, read it to me. It'd be better.
Okay.
But put the picture up before you read it. Do you have the photo?
Of course, I don't have that photo. That wasn't part of the news. But hold on.
But it's interesting because there's actually a pretty big spoiler in that photo. Not spoiler, but it tells you something very specific. So the photo, are you going to find it?
I have it on my phone.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right. You can airdrop it to your thing.
It's gonna take two. I have an old computer.
Okay, this works. You can't see
This is
anything.
just not
Ladies and gentlemen
helping.
who are watching this, I'll have to describe what you're looking at. You're looking at a cast photo, and
Go look it up, guys.
well, we'll do some of the work for you.
Hold on. While you're talking, I'll find the photo while you're talking.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's gonna find it. So
I'm gonna find it.
what you can kind of extrapolate from this photo is they're probably shooting Fortress of Solitude stuff. They're up in they're in a very snowy tundra.
Mm-hmm.
And cast members you see in the photo are Superman, but you also see the engineer, who's probably
Yeah.
a hero villain of the story who turns hero later. She's run by Maxwell Lord and all those guys. You also see Lex Luthor, which you can extrapolate Lex Luthor's doing something in the fortress. And there's a lot of fan theories about who Superman has been fighting, and all the photos and videos we've seen kind of leaking and dropping on the internet is probably maybe Ultraman or a clone version of himself.
I hope not. I really
Well,
do hope not.
did you see the stadium fight?
I try to stay away from too many videos that give it away,
Well, what's
only
interesting
because
about the stadium fight, I wouldn't say it really gives it away, but it lets you know the guy's power set a little bit. Because what you can see in the stadium fight is the guy with the U. He's dressed in all black, his
yeah,
face is covered, and people are like, "What's the U stand for? Is this Ultraman?" There's some people saying he's probably
Ulysses.
or he's a clone of Superman. What's interesting about this is we know that Lex Luthor goes to Fortress of Solitude based off of the photo Gunn sent at the end of shooting. So we know Lex is there.
We
And
might know that's the Fortress of Solitude.
come on, dude.
We might know. It could be
This
something.
is like this is like we might know Harrison Ford. Come on.
No, I didn't say he
It's the
wasn't.
Fortress.
I said by that
Well, also
image
look
you
at
can't tell.
well,
You couldn't.
I will say this. The very first film is the S with snow on it. So if
Mm-hmm.
that's not representational of Superman and snow, pretty much only means Fortress of Solitude.
I'm just trying to stop you from getting your hopes up and being let down.
Nah, well, here's what's interesting about that. Also, Mrs. Tessmacher is in the photo. The actress playing Tessmacher is in this photo too. So Lex is clearly doing something
Mm-hmm.
around there in the snow. Why would they have him there the last few weeks of filming if he's not doing Solitude stuff? I don't know. And that's rumor mill. That's hypothesis mill. So take it for what it's worth. But what we do see, yeah. So you have up in the top right hand corner, this is the actor playing Lex Luthor. Down in the bottom, you have Superman, and you have Mrs. Tessmacher in the shot, and you have obviously Gunn is down there on the other side, and the actress playing the engineer is in the shot too. So, and we see the engineer character in all the fights with Ultraman and in the fight with Flag Senior,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Rick Flag
Like
Senior.
she's very much embedded in that. Right. So she's clearly here. Probably my hypothesis is these characters, we're going to see them in the Fortress of Solitude area. Are they in this fortress? I don't know. Are they around the fortress? Probably. And the other thing that was interesting about the Ultraman character, or the Ulysses character, or the clone Superman character, or the guy in all black who Superman's fighting, is he has Superman's power set. So we see him flying.
Allegedly, you
No,
guys
no,
are theorizing
unless
all of
unless
this.
unless Gunn is doing random stuff to throw the fans off the scent, which would be interesting of him to shoot some stuff in public that's just random to throw us off the scent. It's
I,
possible.
I feel like that's something he probably would do for
It's
you, for
possible.
you guys that are gonna pick this thing apart to
Listen,
figure out what's
listen.
going on.
It's possible, but what we do see is we see Superman fighting in civilian population. We see Superman fighting in a secluded space with no civilian population in this giant arena field, like football field or something, which leads me to believe that Superman's heroic and he's removing the battle from civilians.
Or they're gonna CGI the background, and it's not a football field. They just needed to find a nice open outside space, and they're
I
gonna
don't know,
change the background.
I hope that's not the case, because if it is the case where he's removing the fight, then we're actually seeing um, James Gunn do something that a lot of fans had problems with. Like, why is Superman fighting and putting everyone in danger? Remove the fight as much as you can.
But you know, all this theorizing, you're just setting yourself up to either be
I know,
not
but
surprised
also say,
or
but okay,
disappointed.
yes, but, and here's the thing, Lawrence. Read what he said and when he posted this picture.
Okay, this is great. This is great. God bless our cast and crew whose commitment, creativity, and hard work brought this project to life. I set out to make a movie about a good man in a world that isn't always so much. And the goodness
Boom.
and kindness and love I've encountered on a daily basis on the set has inspired me and thrust me forward when I felt too spent to move on my own. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Blah 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 blah. The destination has been Superman, but the journey has been the toil and the laughter and the emotions and the ideas and magic we've shared together. Dude, he's making what we've been
I know, but
hoping for.
exactly. Look, listen what he said. He said, "I set out to make a movie about a good man
Mm-hmm.
in a world that is, sometimes maybe not so much."
Right.
And so, if I'm just funneling any of the stuff that's been made public at this point through that lens, then I go, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it, and I have so much faith in what he's doing right now.
Dude, so I mean, just his take on it is just amazing. And I want to show you something again real quick while we're gonna look at some photos. Because I know people were kind of upset with Superman's costume. But when I think about it through this lens, hold on. When I think about it through this lens, and he wants to be a good man, not an alien necessarily. I think about like this drawing
No, do you have a? Yeah, this is great.
by Gary Frank. And
This
when
is
I
great.
and it's
Do you
he
have a photo?
no, that's not this week, Jack. Jack, just follow me here. Follow me.
Sorry, go ahead.
So
Go
we
ahead.
see an image of him right here. And he has Superman, and he's not like six pack abs. It looks like he's wearing a costume. And when I see this,
He definitely
like
looks
you
like
can't
he's
tell
he's
me
he's well. I mean, he definitely looks like he got a 6 pack under that. So,
under it, yes, under it, but it's not sculpted into his suit.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
made to
yeah.
look like he's actually wearing clothes. And I think there's something about James Gunn purposely going, I want to show you the man that's super,
Well, it
um,
goes back to he's
big
got to
time.
be. I think they're trying to make him accessible to the population, and the city he's in. You know,
Well, and I think that's, and every director has their own take. And I think Zack Snyder's take was, we're going to have a Superman that's reflected by the world he's in.
yeah.
Seems like James Gunn's take is Superman's going to affect the world he's in, not be affected by the world. Like he's probably going to he's making the world a better place by being here.
I think you're 100% on the right path, and I think we're gonna see a lot of I don't want to say redemption stories, but I think you're gonna see some of these heroes who are maybe not great heroes yet learn how to be heroes, and you're gonna
Because of
see that
him.
through Superman. You know, the other thing we're gonna talk about the trailer to the biopic that's dropping, right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Well, one thing, yeah.
Before we get into that, I just want to show you a different image of another potential spoiler from him, and then I want to get into the trailer.
I'm gonna airdrop you. I'm gonna text you something. I think we should show too. But keep going.
Um, so James Gunn, hold on. This isn't a real image.
No, but it is the
This
actual
ain't a real
casting.
image.
But it's the real casting.
Yeah, but it's not a real image.
But it's the real casting, and it tells you something.
But they may not be dressed like this at all.
They don't have to be. You see their faces. And you get the vibe and the tone. Like we ain't never seen this down to earth version of Pa Mom Pa Kent. So I just sent Lawrence a
Hold on,
picture of Mom Pa.
I'm gonna email
And
it to
this is the
myself.
actual casting. And these guys look so earth, salt of the earth kind of people that you're like, well, if there's one thing James Gunn has done with the casting of this film is he's given a lot of actors with little to no credits a big opportunity, and a lot of actors who we haven't seen in a while, like the guy who's playing Pa Kent. I mean, the last time I really remember him popping out in something was as far back as like Constantine. You know,
I actually don't remember him.
he was the dude who was reading all this stuff.
Was he? Oh wow. Hold on. I'm about to show the
Am I
image.
nuts?
No, I honestly don't remember most of the actors in that movie except Keanu
That,
Reeves. I can't picture their faces right now. But here we go. This is what Jack told me to. Now this is not an official image,
it's
but
not an
it could
official
be
image.
telling of,
That's
like
true.
Jack said, the tone in which he's
But
going for, which is,
but you don't cast
I
this.
mean, but
I'm just saying you. I mean,
Kevin
maybe they're not going to
Costner and
work.
Diane Keaton were the same.
Oh, don't
They
don't
were
don't.
great, Mom,
You're
Pa
100%,
Kents.
100%. Kevin
Not
Costner was great in a poorly written role for him. I mean that.
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, talk about like you never seen a kind of manly, bald, gruff looking like he tills the earth. It's an
You know,
interesting casting for Pa, man. It's really good casting.
it is. It's kind of like a gruffer version of the Lois and Clark Paw. Like I
Right.
feel like Smallville kind of gave us a strong handsome, and Kevin Costner kind of follows suit, but we're kind of back to like that. There's no way these two birthed Clark. I love the casting. The casting all around is great. James Gunn, even Guardians of the Galaxy, he casts
I mean,
well.
the only one that might be kind of questionable is the guy playing Maxwell Lord, who's probably gonna have a pretty
That's his brother. He's probably gonna be dope.
well. This is what I'm saying. If he's not forming nepotism, but the guy is a great actor. I mean, the stuff we've seen him, he's killed.
Yeah,
And James Gunn, James. I mean, listen, I think he cast him for the right reasons, and not just because he's his brother. If he if
he's
he's
never
not
put
like
him in a he's never put him in a big role before. I mean, he was physically Rocket Raccoon, but he didn't do the voice. He was like, "Stay in your lane."
no, but
Bradley Cooper
he
is
was
going
in
to voice it.
Guardians. He was in Guardians. He was the guy with the
Oh yeah,
who yeah.
small role. He
That's
could
my
have gave
point.
him a
Small
bigger
role.
role, but
He could have.
he's like, this is where I need you to shine. So I feel like here, and Maxwell Lord, Lex Luthor is the villain in this movie for the most part. It's you have Lex Luthor in it, whether he is full on. Maxwell Lord isn't like what we're building to. It's going to be
No.
Lex, whether he is discovered or not in this film. We know what we're building to.
Well, I'm not saying that Lord's the villain, but he's clearly playing a big role in it, and we do know that they're bringing on. Well, based off another photo that was dropped because we had filmed at the building that the Justice League building, I
Oh,
think
the
Justice League or Justice Society building.
Argus or something with an A. Yeah, yeah. I think there was a
Yeah.
symbol
So,
that was released.
well, what's interesting about that is the building they shot at. Did I take a picture of it here? I took this. So they shot here. You can't really see too well, but this is the actual building they shot at.
Well, Hall of
Right.
Justice looking building. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
looks
Hall of
clear.
Justice
I
looking
see it.
building. But this building is the building that they based the Hall of Justice off of. So the fact that he went there to shoot there tells you exactly what he's doing. He went to the building that they stole as inspiration for the Hall of Justice to probably shoot the Hall of Justice, which means we're getting a version of the Justice League at this point in time run by Maxwell Lord,
And
right? So it's
also the architecture of that building. James Gunn is going. This is classic comic book
oh,
because
it's right out
this
of the
was like
comic. It's right out
but
of the
but
comic book.
but
It is
any
the
modern
comic
day
book.
interpretation would have put them in a sophisticated, more realistic looking building or something.
Maybe.
Here it's like no, this needs to look like I want it to look like a comic book.
You know
I
what's
don't want it
interesting?
to look
I
like
went back and
Christopher Nolan's Gotham City. You know,
I was just talking to Rich about this. I went back and I was watching some of the Brandon Ralph film, which
I watched
you
some of
know
that.
the
I
production
watched some
design.
of you talking about that.
Oh! The production design for that film is off the charts. How good it looks! Like it looks so good.
It's it's what's the word? Not Art Deco, but
Yeah, it's
it's
similar
that
to that. I mean,
timeless type of yeah.
it's got that. It's got a different kind of vintage vibe to it. But
Which
man,
is
it
why I
looks.
think they made his suit darker in that film to fit the
I
kind
don't
of
know
vibe they were
why.
going for.
I
It
don't know
just
what they
didn't.
made his suit brown. Come on, let's be honest.
But
At
his bright colors in this film, his bright colors in this film show you the tone in which they're going, which is classic comic book. This is going to feel more inspired by the comics than this realistic take on Superman in the real world. It's not going to
what
be
goes back
our
to
real world.
what goes back to which Superman from which comics though. You know, different artists draw him differently. Like I
But
used
I
to be a
mean,
humongous Michael Turner fan. The way he drew Superman back in the early 2000s is
yeah.
just sick.
But I mean the world, like Christopher Nolan's Gotham City is just a regular city. It just looks
Yeah,
like, and he wanted it to be. Whereas you watch Matt Reeves' The Batman, Gotham City's a character, feels like you're in a comic. I
yeah,
think Nolan is doing that. He's not making a metropolis that feels like, oh, this is New York. It's going to feel like its own
yeah. Gunn.
pocket dimension of our world. Yeah, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
I want to show you this real quick. I want to show you because now he Gunn dropped this spoiler, which is very interesting, and I don't know what he means by it, but he dropped this image, and check this out. You saw that?
Oh, I know what he means by that.
I know exactly what he means by that.
Of course, you know. We all know what he means by
I'll
that.
tell you what he means by
Go on,
that.
tell us. That's what he means.
Martian
He means
Manhunter
Martian
loves
Manhunter
these.
likes Oreos.
So Martian Manhunter's got to be in this.
Well, yeah, you don't show a
He's
picture of
got to be in
Oreos
this,
if you're not gonna. Of course. And one
which
thing we
is
know Gunn loves is these alien and fun alien creatures. And we already have that space exists.
yeah.
And the
There
other
was a
thing,
cartoon.
go ahead.
There was an animated cartoon that came out where one of Superman's first, like in his first year in his first adventures, he did bump into Martian Manhunter because they're very similar, like kind of like
Well,
the last of their species to a degree and all that stuff, and they're alien. So it'd be really great to see him have a relationship, even if Martian Manhunter's not in here to fight or team up, but like he just has some sort of
Yeah.
otherworldly confidant.
Well, listen, I every cameo we get doesn't have to be substantial, but it should be earned. Whatever it is should be
Hmm.
a thing. Even if it's a simple thing, it should be a thing. No, I love the idea that he's in here. What he's doing is not trying to one off every character before we get them. He's establishing a world that's in motion. And there's enough people who have read this content at this point that are just going to step into it and love it. And the people who haven't read the content, hopefully the film is standalone enough where you can just get absorbed and start understanding the characters you're meeting for the first time if you don't know them already. You know,
Including Superman, because although we have our opinions about the Man of Steel, people grew up on that film and grew up on those films, and in their mind, that's what Superman is. Why
oh,
is he wearing underwear now? Why is he cheesy now? And you actually
uh,
got some people that are going, "Oh, I hate that Christopher Reeve old school Boy Scout boring stuff. Give me the Snyder." Like you have a huge group of people who grew up with that version.
it's all right. But
So they're gonna
who didn't grow up with that version is James Gunn. So again, I'm optimistic that we're gonna get. Listen, he said it. I set out to tell a film about a good person. You got me right there. I'll rock with you. I'll rock with you. Show me the good
well, let me tell
person.
you what he said. Let me tell you what he said that is gonna make you even love this guy more, man. A great moment in our Superman journey was showing this film, the
Yep,
documentary of
yep,
Christopher
yep.
Reeve,
Actually, I was
the
going to tell you
cast
that.
and crew to a universally emotional and powerful response. We felt like a part of something larger than ourselves, and we have Chris and his family and the filmmakers to thank for that. I can't wait to share. The fact that he showed this film, I want to put up the image of it. We'll talk about it a little bit more. The fact that he pulled up the documentary as like, we're not here to recreate this, but we need to, there's something about what they captured. Hope is what they captured here. And James Gunn is the head of DC. So he also greenlit this documentary to even happen as well. It's DC Studios. It's all him.
That's right.
Um, it's kind of really
Well,
special.
he kind of pushed for it. He petitioned for it.
Yeah.
Um, anyone who hasn't seen the trailer for this,
Oh my
I
gosh.
highly recommend go check it out. And even Reeves in the trailer talks about his redefined understanding of what he thinks a hero is and was and is. You know, but the doc
Hmm.
looks. My only gripe with the doc is it's not playing in a lot of theaters. It looks like it's probably
It's
getting a small release, so it's if you want to find it, you're gonna have to look for it. I assume it's probably gonna be on like
it's gonna be
HBO
on
in a
HBO
couple
Max.
months. Yeah, but I'd
Well, I
love to
mean,
see this
and
actually in the theaters.
yeah, and here the thing about it is, unfortunately, Christopher Reeve was Superman in 1978 to like 1987, and we
Yeah,
love him. That's kind of our sweet spot as kids. But there's several generations who are not gonna go to the theater to see this.
right.
So if this is not going to get the wide release we think it should, just because there's so many people who are disconnected from it.
I'll tell you, um, his book, "It's Still Me." I think that's the name of it. "It's Still Me."
Hmm.
Is 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 kind of a real. It's just a one of those eye opener kind of life changing books, and I get the vibe off the doc that it's that story. It's
Yeah,
gonna be one of those things that anyone's gonna walk away having a enriched perspective of not just probably their life but life in general. It's a real
and not
weird thing we live in.
and
This
not just
whole
him,
experience.
but like his wife, man.
Yeah, his
Right?
wife is
Like this Superwoman who there's in the trailer you hear him say like, I can't. make love to her. I can't touch her. I can't do anything for her. And like he says, he says something like it broke me and it built me up. He says something like that where she looked at him and says, "You're still you."
Right.
Like she rocked with like that. That I mean, it really is
Well,
heartwarming. And the Robin Williams stuff of how Robin Williams talked about him and spoke to him, and
I mean,
what Christopher Reeve
imagine
did. You know.
the psyche that the what that would play on anyone. You know, it's like I remember busting my foot and walking funny for a month, and I felt like I wasn't exactly me anymore. You know,
Mhm.
it was my foot. I was fine. I was fine, but it was like it slowed me down. It wasn't me. This guy was a specimen of human paralysis, and it was all taken. You know, and the fact that
Yeah.
he found the fact that he was able to find not just a way forward, but redefined his own understanding of what was of value in life. It wasn't about the fame or the stardom or any of that stuff. He found a way. He found a way to give back, regardless.
Well, because of what he founded and funded and all that stuff, like people who wouldn't have
Yeah.
walked because of him, because of the stuff he did and the research he had done in his
They,
foundation.
someone had said, I read this somewhere, that Christopher Reeves put that that uh, that research about, what was the number? Something ridiculous, like 100 years ahead of where it probably would have been had it progressed the rate it was going before he became the spokesperson for it. You know, like
I believe that.
his power and influence and who he was at the time, what had happened. It wasn't like it was just a celebrity. It was Superman. Superman. You know, so it was like,
And and not just Superman, because if he plays Superman, then if you found out behind the scenes he's a dick, he's actually a
yeah,
terrible person to work with,
right,
like none of this would have worked. The fact that he was Superman, but he also was a great human being,
yeah,
and then like it all kind of matches. And Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, it's like it's all there. And the fact that James Gunn felt that was important for the cast and crew to watch this type of resilience, watch a good man persevere through the darkest of times.
right,
I mean, it has to be part of the blueprint of what they're creating. You know, the heartbeat of it,
right.
um, which is special, man. That is freaking special. Special. Um, I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited. Let
Well,
me
you know,
stop.
another thing that's kind of interesting about what it seems like Gunn is doing with his world building is he's not erasing the slate. He's not clearing all the blocks off the table. He's kind of embraced the idea that, and DC had been doing this for decades and decades in the comics, that else worlds exist.
Hmm.
And that's kind of looks like what they're doing. They're saying we can have this version of Superman and we can have that version of Batman, and they don't have to be tied together. We'll have, and they're both, it'll all be DC. And if it
Yeah,
crosses over sometime because worlds collide, well, who knows? Maybe it happens. But we can have all these concepts.
that's why I'm not the one that hated the end of the Flash movie. Like I didn't hate it, and the CGI could have been much better, but I didn't hate what they were doing, what they were going for, storytelling wise. Of seeing Chris Reeve and seeing Nicolas Cage and seeing like, these all exist, and these all of these things matter.
Yeah,
Batman, Adam West, it matters. We're not just wiping the slate clean with a reboot. We're like, no, it all matters, and it's all very important to us.
right.
That's what I got from it. But people looked at it as something else. I'm like, what else is there to look at here? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know, but that's I think the bulk. Oh, I want to share something else. So James Gunn also said like with the tight script and as a director knowing what he wanted and hiring the people to get him the job done, he actually wrapped early.
Hmm.
to give himself a year of post production. You
Well,
know,
the internet's been coming at him on that one. They want to know. There've been a lot of questions he's been fielding, one of which revolved around CGI, and he did mention that very specifically. He said, if you go back and research my film specifically, you'll notice the CGI is always good, and it's because I respect what these guys do and how much time they need to do it right. And
and
so
he's
that,
so
that's why the
efficient
film
on
doesn't.
his films. He doesn't do a lot of reshoots. He doesn't have to. He's like, I
He
got
said,
what I needed.
well, he also said, the reason he said something about the reshoots. He was asked if he's going to need to do reshoots, and he goes, "No, the reason I don't tend to need to do any reshoots is I don't start shooting until the script is 100%.
Absolutely.
I don't shoot unless I think the script's 100%. So we're not trying to rework it as we're going." And he said, "We wrapped film over a year before this film premieres, so CGI has plenty of time to get it on the ball." And the other thing, they asked like
Hmm.
Metamorphose in this movie, right? Who we know is gonna be CGI enhanced, but they were asked, is Metamorpho uh, CGI 100% CGI? And he was like, we know that there's gonna be practical effects, that the CGI is
And
just
it
enhancing.
needs to be, because we that's the beautiful thing about Guardians, is how much of these were makeup and suits mixed with CGI, and it just created a wonderful world where you didn't feel like you were just green screen everything, you know?
Right.
And for those that are worried, this is a Superman film, guys. Most of the important stuff outside of the performances and all that is post production.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
the film is
There's
going to
so much.
live in what the work they're doing now is the movie. Um,
Well, that's,
so I
what's
thought that
funny
was
about
great. Like him
actually it's all.
him finishing quickly is a testament to like a director that knows exactly what he wants. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the other thing about, all films are made in the editing room, and he's got a
Hmm.
year to edit this thing. They're not gonna. They probably already have
Yes,
it cut. They probably already have a real rough version of it. They probably had a 2 weeks before after they wrapped some sort of rough version of it. But they got a year to figure this out. They're
dude.
fine.
He probably had a rough version of it before they wrap. He probably had these things being cut as they were
Oh,
filming.
well, he said they were. He did say that that was already
Yeah,
happening. So they know what the film looks like.
because
Um,
because
the other
he would
thing,
know
this
if he need
film,
reshoots.
right? Yeah. The other thing, we already know that tremendous amount of support, regardless of what anyone's saying. People are going to see that. People are going to flock to this movie, and the reason why we know that is
Why do
a
we know
hundred.
that? Why do
I'll
we
tell you.
know that?
I'll tell you why we know that, Lawrence.
Hmm.
100%. 100% of the Superman leg merchandise that was sold at San Diego Comic Con was gone within minutes, not hours, minutes. 100% of it. Okay. And follow up, DC put Superman Legacy merch online. 100% of it was gone, not within hours, within minutes. People are going to see this film. People are going to support this film. It's going to succeed. It would be crazy
And
if it didn't succeed.
I think with Deadpool and Wolverine, and if Captain America is good, because all these
Ooh,
films
I'm
work
about to make a
together to
name for
create.
myself.
Man, the culture has to all be good. If
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
superhero movies are bad, then it hurts Superman. But like if Deadpool and Wolverine killed it, and
That's
if they all like do their job, Marvel and DC do their job, everything wins. And yeah, I mean, I think this movie will be successful. I hope so. DC kind of needs it to be, Jack. This is their flagship new
hey,
universe
yeah.
film.
Well, actually, it's not. It's their flagship live action. Their first film that's coming out to establish this
Creature
universe,
Commandos is not going to start this universe as far as the money.
but it's
This
James Gunn.
movie is
It's
start.
James Gunn's. I'm at the head of this universe thing.
Right. But however
Yeah.
that animation does, it doesn't destroy this universe. If this
No.
movie tanks, if
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
tanks,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're
That's
done.
100% true. All of it might be
Um,
done.
so much, so much. Oh, it's all done. They're just gonna do standalones. Don't even bother doing a shared universe. You're done.
I get the feeling that
um,
they're gonna drop that trailer and all of
I don't.
civilization is gonna stop for a moment and like stand up and cheer and be like, finally, and you're gonna know within like two
You know,
minutes of, come on, you don't think? Hey, you
people
think
are
I'm
gonna be
being
hate. No, because people are gonna be haters. I think we will, but the same
Lawrence?
people
Haters
that
gonna
are
hate.
haters are gonna hate, and people are hating on this to a big degree, just because like it's popular to hate things now. It's just cool to hate things,
I want to
and
walk away from a Superman film proud to be a Superman fan.
mhm.
That's it.
And some would say this is corny and this is
That's okay.
boring.
But that's
Give
Superman.
give
He's wearing his underwear on the outside. He's in bright colors, and he's saving
they're like
cats from.
give me Henry Cavill. I'm tired of
Listen,
this goofy
Cavill's
stuff.
great, but listen to Cavill talk about Superman, and you'll get a sense real quick that he didn't exactly think that 100% of what he thinks Superman is are in these films either. Now, I will say
No, I
this:
think he was
the
hoping that
Snyder,
after Man of Steel, he would get to eventually become the
like
guy
Superman,
that yeah,
like a decent fella,
yeah.
like not dark and broody the whole time. He's not Batman. Yeah, Superman's not Batman. Superman has to make people better, which is,
That's his
and
that's
it's
his
not just because
flaw.
he's stronger. It's not because he's stronger. It's not because he's faster. It's not because he
He's
looks
just
better or
good.
anything like that. It's just he's got a bigger heart. He's
If
like
anyone
Doctor
is
Who. He's got like two hearts.
if anyone is confused about a goody goody Superman, since you might have grew up with the Snyderverse, just think about Chris Evans is Steve Rogers. How they were able to keep him the Boy Scout, and Winter Soldier is one of the top five superhero movies of all time. And
He's
he
still
still
heroic,
remained the Boy Scout. He still was heroic. He didn't go dark because the rest of the world was dark. He
right?
remained Captain America. That's Superman.
But that's also why I like what Gunn said. I set out to tell a film about a good man in a world that is sometimes not so much. And that lets me know that it's not just the villains he's talking about. He's talking about the heroes too. He's talking about
But
everyone gets to learn something off of this guy.
that image, that video of Superman walking, as you said, the kids running to him. Everyone knows children have a strong sense of who's good or bad. And the fact
Yeah.
that the kids are running to him, that's already telling me I see who he is. Even if the other adults can't see it, or they're scared of him, or they're concerned about Superman, the children will let you know if this is the guy. And the way they run to him and hug him and love him, and he hugs them back. Jack, that's all we really. That's I don't even need to see a trailer. I don't need to see nothing anymore. That told me everything I need to know
Listen, I'm
about
ready
this
for
guy.
the movie. So what are we talking about?
So okay, that's pretty much the news. I want to do
Yes.
something. We did this last time. We looked at a costume and an actor from a previous series. Last time we talked about Dean Cain and his costume. So we're gonna do
Oh.
it this time around. We're gonna take a look at Gerard Christopher's Superboy costume, and we're gonna like critique
Oh.
it and see how it measures up with the lineage. Um, if y'all didn't see us do the, go watch episode 2 and check it out. We break down Dean Cain's suit, but Gerard Christopher played Superboy in the 1980s. Same producers as the Christopher Reeve movies, and I have to say, Jack,
Yeah.
this suit is better than Christopher Reeve's suit. It's
It
a
is
better
better
suit.
actually. Yeah. Let's see the full body.
Let me show you this one.
Yeah.
Almost full body. The S is
Yeah.
much more like the comics. The blue is actually blue. You can see that they grabbed the Christopher Reeve belt though,
Yeah.
which is
Which
interesting.
is accurate off the comics. How about his boots? We got a shot of his
Yeah,
boots.
we do. and his boots are pretty
See,
much like Christopher Reeve. Way better than Dean Kane's boots.
well, Dean Kane never quite figured out his boots. His parents had struggled with that one the
It
whole
was
whole
so
series.
baggy,
He's got good flow
man.
on his cape.
And then the,
Listen, I be honest?
I mean,
This is a good looking suit, but I wouldn't
mhm.
want to see it today. I wouldn't want to see that suit today. Like what I did
No.
love about Snyder's Superman suit is it had a little bit of texture on there, which helped the suit not feel flat. And they put that on.
Well, that
James Gunn has given us some texture, some detail. We want a little bit of
well, yeah.
something on
She he in the. I mean, he shouldn't be wearing spandex. Technically, it shouldn't just be like a leotard in real life. Why would he wear that? Why would his mom make him that? But this is the other Superboy that played him before him, James Haim Newton, I think. Pretty much the same costume, except the S is different. If you notice, one S has more yellow and the other one has a thicker red. And to
it.
be
See, I like
honest, the way his cape is tucked in is a little better, actually.
the cape looks better, but the S don't look better.
No, I prefer Gerard's S for sure. If I like his S, Jack. Now, can I tell you?
He said, "No, I prefer his
I prefer his
as for
S.
sure."
Can I tell you something that's interesting? This costume, for its
He
time,
got good looking ass.
is almost flawless, except for the fact the back of his cape was still the Christopher Reeve S. They didn't actually give
Well, that's
him.
lazy. That's
It's
just
just
lazy.
lazy. They just gave him the Christopher Reeve cape.
But you know what? You know what you know what I don't like about that is the black outline. I actually really like what they got going on with Gunn's S.
Where it's kind
It's
of
just
raised.
gold on the back with another. It's like a two tones of gold, which I really like that. But I think it should have a big ass on the back. Like you don't
You,
want a small ass on the back. It's got to be a bigger S.
I don't know. I agree, but there's something about how
On the back.
subtle it is. I don't know. I think I'm just
Nah,
happy to get an
dude,
S on the
you
back
go look at
again.
some.
Let me see.
Yeah, like not having a good S to look at has been
It's been a
a real
problem,
train.
Jack. It's been a problem. Let's take a look at his Clark Kent
You
real quick.
cannot overstate the importance of a good S.
Big old S. His Clark Kent. I mean, to me, so far,
Yeah.
his Clark Kent's
Yep.
great,
Yep.
and I put his
Mhm.
costume over Dean Kane's. We ranked Dean Kane's. His costume's over Dean Kane's for sure. I think we gave Dean Kane a 7 or a 6. I can't remember. What would you rate his costume?
Well, Dean Kane had some great colors on his costume. His
Yeah,
Dean Kane's costume was a little darker. His S on the front was a little bigger. Dean Kane's S on the front. You got
his is
Dean Kane
pretty
on here still?
big, dude. His is pretty big. I'll pull
I
up
lied.
Dean
I
Kane.
mean, it was almost down to his belly button in some shots.
This one is.
Like his, no, Dean Kane's. Dean Kane's S was down to his belly
I
button.
think Dean Kane's was a little higher and wider, but I
It
think
was,
it's
yeah, but it was also longer. It was higher, wider,
I
and
think
longer. I mean, his S was
his S was
everywhere.
everywhere. Hold on, let me find. You're making me dig now. Hold.
I don't know how you don't just have the standing by. We're
Why
talking
I
about
didn't
costumes,
hold
so I
on
need
to
all of
Dean
them.
Kane's. I moved on. We're not doing Dean Kane.
How do we
Oh
compare
gosh.
whatever we
Okay.
compare
Give
that
me
to?
2 seconds.
You got to compare it a little
Tell a
bit,
joke.
just a
Tell a
little bit.
joke.
And I don't want to see his like season two costume where they worked out some of the details a little better. That season two costume was, and it was a good looking costume.
Do you remember your ranking? You don't remember
No,
your ranking.
I moved on. I didn't
Me
even.
too. That's
But we got to.
that's
We
why I
have to
don't
reference it
have.
here. If we're not referencing it, I don't know what we're doing.
Hold on. Give me a second. Tell a joke while I'm pulling it up. Tell a joke.
That one I know.
Knock, knock, knock.
All right. While you're pulling that up, I'll pull up a joke.
Oh, don't pull up a joke. You should have one off the top of your head, Jack. You should
No,
be
I started making jokes
prepared.
and I wrote them down.
Oh, God. Please don't.
I started making like real jokes. Where are they? I have like a joke
Oh,
file I
no.
started
Okay.
making. These are so good.
Okay. I saved it. I saved everybody. I found it. You don't even have to
What
worry
no?
about it.
But no joke.
I found it.
Tune into
I
next
found
week's
it.
exciting live episode on Sunday where I'll tell a joke. Of course, I don't know when this is coming
Oh
out. So
gosh. This is coming out today for those that are watching it.
good. So tune back in on
It's out
Sunday and
now.
I'll tell a joke. We'll be talking about Terminator on
Hold
Sunday.
on.
Terminator Zero, man. Are you excited for that?
No.
Are you
Not
nuts?
at
How
all.
are
I'm
you not
not.
excited for that?
Why would I be excited for the Netflix animated Terminator show? That's Dean Cain.
This is not. You picked the worst
This
photo.
is
Come
this is
on,
this. You see the
man.
not all of them. You see the boots. I try to give you one
Okay,
where you
yeah,
see the
yeah,
boots.
yeah. He's
And
struggling.
this is
These are
season
red boots.
4. These are season. This
This
is
is
season 4.
this is not a good image. If
Because
you're
his
looking at
cape
just
is
like if
bouncing
you're
up.
looking at right here, I'm sure this looks really good right here, but the rest of it don't look so good.
I can't tell what you're pointing at. What
I
were you
know. I'm
pointing
saying
at?
this from like chest up.
Oh,
That probably looks
yeah.
really
Well, I
good.
mean,
Chest.
that's the suit. Now, when you look at Gerard Christopher, I
This is
mean,
a
there's
dark
no
blue, man. This
competition,
is dark blue. That's a dark blue suit.
right? But in the '80s, like Superman's costume wasn't that dark in the comics.
This is
This is a
this,
superior suit.
this is you look at this,
So,
and there's no mistaking it's Superman. Oh, it's 100% Superman.
it,
Like there's no
and it's a
confusion.
flawless. It's flawless. It's not baggy in weird places.
Nah,
The
it's
briefs
picture
aren't
perfect.
pouchy. The belt's not. This is
It's
perfect
picture
so
perfect.
far.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so let's
You
re-rank
really
it
got to
since
be in you really got to be in good shape
excuse
to
me.
wear this.
You do well. I mean, and Dean Cain was in great shape, but yeah, the darker blue I think could be a little bit more maybe flattering.
Yo, it's
Also,
definitely gonna dark
Dean Dean Cain's
definitely gonna mask some of that midsection.
shinier spandex brings out definition too. Like you get texture without the suit having texture because it gives you shadows. You get darker spots because the shiny
Right.
spandex. But if we're
Um,
gonna
I,
rank these, since you
but
forgot
I
your
will say
ranking,
in moving in a freeze frame, this suit does look more accurate. Does look better. Does it look
it's
better
10
in
times
motion?
better.
Do you remember what I ranked Dean Cain?
No, should I go back to the tape? Let me go. Should I go back and watch that episode real quick?
I don't think we've seen a
Should-
10. What's a 10? Like, what do we have to compare it to? Comics?
No, we can't. The comics, I mean, compare them
Like,
to each other. Right now,
like,
you don't like giving tens. You kind of you're weird like that. You don't like
that's
giving
not what
definitive anything. You're weird. Hold on. Let me see. Are we watching our own show as we're doing this? Yes.
wow. Can I tell you? I think uh, this is pretty. This is pretty 10, man.
Well, on that note, like Jack said, let us know in the comments section.
Is that me? Are you watching us while we're recording? This is great.
I'm
On that
trying to
note,
see what your ranking was since you can't remember.
if Man of Steel's colors were right, maybe. But it's kind of like trying to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop.
What the hell are you talking about, Jet?
Yo, I'm hysterical. Who is that guy? Let's find him.
Better. Red. And I tell you what I really love about or something. Screw it. I don't. They don't have the patience for watching us dig. We're eating up precious time. So let's re-rank it. Let's rank Dean Cain and Gerard Christopher right now. We'll write it down so we won't forget. Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna forget next time we do a show. When's the next time we do a show?
When we get some more James Gunn Superman news, that's substantial.
When we get some more
Tell them to
followers.
hurry up. Well, I can't help you there. I can't help you when you're doing Terminator, the animated Netflix show.
Wow, Jim Lee's Superman is so good.
Jack, come back to the show.
I'm looking at comic book.
Why? We're looking at
costumes.
Gerard Christopher. Look at what's on the screen. Look at what's on the screen, Jack. No, you
I
don't.
gotta
You
show.
don't
Oh,
have to
right.
look
Sorry.
at what's on the screen. What are we ranking Dean Cain?
This is one of my all. This is one of my all-time favorite drawings of
Drawing.
Superman. Look at this thing. Look at this thing.
Hold on. Hold
That
on.
S is. I mean that costume is
It's
so
drawn.
looks
It's a
so
naked
good.
body drawn blue. That don't count. We're looking at real people in costumes. Get
Oh,
out
is
of
that
here.
what we're looking at?
Get
So maybe
out of
we should just
here.
yo look at how good this costume looks. This is when he was with Michael Turner. Drew this one. The other one's Jim Lee.
It's a
Michael
naked
Turner draws
body
Superman,
with
right?
blue on it. I like Gary Frank, the
So
guy that
maybe
drew.
that's how they should.
No, that's what Henry Cavill's looked like in the later ones, where he was looked like he
But
was just sculpted muscle
he had
suit.
like the little texture things, the little textures. All right, you want to rank it? Let's rank it. So
Oh God,
I would say Superboy's costume is pretty great. Actually, it is one of the better ones.
what's
Whoa, you
going
got
on?
some
What's
naked.
going on?
What is going on
What's
here?
going on?
I don't think you can show some of
Oh,
these
that's
photos. Hey, show that one.
here we
Wait, go back.
go.
You just show that one. Show the one where he's got. I don't want to see the one with where he's doing this one, right there.
I am not looking at you. I'm looking at my screen.
Okay, that's fair.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Down,
Show me what?
down, down. Go down.
Down.
Right there.
Go
Stop. Right
down.
under his foot,
Here.
where he's opening the shirt up.
Here.
No, right above
Oh,
that one.
here.
Right up. Yeah, that's. Let me see that.
Right up.
Let me see that. The one you're
This
on.
isn't
That's the
even a
one.
suit.
Yo, what's he wearing
It's a
under?
video. It's a. It's
That's even better. See, that S looks pretty good. Man,
Jack,
this was
you're
good
tripping.
casting.
Oh man, I'm gonna
You're
watch that
tripping.
right now.
You're
I
tripping.
gotta let you. I'm
You're
gonna watch that
tripping.
right now.
There's.
Okay. What are we doing?
You can go
Are we
watch it right
ranking this?
now. We're
Come on, let's
trying to
rank
rank. I just need you to focus.
Okay. Okay. All right. So this
Dean
one,
Cain is. Dean
I
Cain
think we
is
gave 7. Dean Kane's a 7. Is that what we gave it? I feel like we gave him a 7.
Well, I'm dropping him down now. It's a curving ranking because
I
he was
think
the
that's how
first
I.
one, and I might have been generous. He's a
Well,
6, and
well.
this is a 7.
Oh, you dropped Dean Kane's ranking when you saw his suit. I didn't know you
Dean
could do
Cain was
that.
first.
Listen, that's why I've been
We make the
buying time.
rules.
That's why I've been buying time, Lawrence. I couldn't figure out how a superior than a 7.
Jack,
So
that's not why you was buying
I,
time. You weren't buying time. You're just
I think
distracted.
this suit is a 7.
This
And
suit's a
actually, I think
7.
Dean Kane's suit also might also be a 7. Might be 7s. This might be
They're
a
not both 7.
superior 7 though. It's like a 7S.
Dean Cain's boots alone don't make it a 7 at
You're
this
right.
point.
You're right. And his belt is
You gotta
so
look at the
bad.
whole suit.
His belt's so
His
bad.
belt.
His belt.
But his
And don't
mom made it.
forget, we're gonna get to Christopher Reeve.
Well, I'm not saying he's gonna win.
Right,
This
but
suit is
if
better
Dean
than
Cain's a
Christopher
7
Reeve.
too, but Chris Reeves is better than Dean Cain's.
Dean Kane's suit might have been better than Christopher Reeve's suit.
You are ridiculous.
Elements
Are
of
you
it.
for
This
real?
shot right here. 90% of television is shot right here. Film and television shot right here. So much of it.
Jack, this Superboy suit is Christopher Reeve's suit. Just the S is different. Everything else is pretty much the same.
But that's my problem with Gunn's suit. The S is one of the most important parts of the suit. Is the S.
No,
That's why this is a
yeah,
totally
and
different suit. Yes, it's Christopher Reeve's suit, but it's a totally different suit.
I love this suit. This is growing on me so much. It's growing on me so much.
I'm starting.
I'm
to see
down
the S.
for it. We gotta allow.
Listen, that's
gotta
why he
allow
had
it
to
to
give us the whole
change,
year to get
man.
used to it. He had to give us a year to adjust to that S.
And I'm adjusting to that S, Jack. But anyway, Gerard Christopher is a 7. Dean Cain is a 6. He's a 6.
It's not a whole 6.
It might change.
Our we're ranking this on a
It's a
sliding
6.
scale, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a 6.
Listen,
Well,
it's better than a
when
six.
you start comparing it, it's not better than a 6.
Yes. See,
Elements,
that's what's weird about this.
elements. But the boots are important. The belt is important.
Yeah, but his boots aren't made for walking; they're made for flying, and
On
that's just what
that
they'll do.
note,
One of these days, these
can
boots
you
will.
give a ranking, Jack?
Okay, all right. I thought I did. I thought didn't I
What did you
just
give
rank?
Dean Kane? You give them both 7s? They're
Right,
equal.
they're equal. This one is a superior suit, though, but they're equal. Yeah, they're actually equal. It's weird.
Wait, so this suit's superior, but they're equal. This
Yes,
is what I'm dealing with here, people. You're
but you'll accept
you're
it.
watching you're watching you wonder what indecisive looks like in human form.
No, 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 no. That was not indecisive. I answered the question. This suit is superior, but they're both sevens.
How does that make sense?
It
No,
does
I'm
though.
changing your answer. He's a
It does.
7.5 then. I refuse. I refuse to have this
Who's a
malarkey.
7.5?
The superior one's 7.5.
No, 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 no. The inferior one is 6.5.
Fair.
This
Now we're
this
cooking.
neither suit is above a 7.
Then I can get with that. Dean Kane is 6.5. Gerard Christopher is a solid
Can I
7.
be honest? I don't think we've seen anything higher than about 8.5.
We've only seen 2 so far in
That's
ever.
it live action. I think the best suit we maybe didn't see could have potentially been Superman's cameo in Black Adam.
It's the Man of Steel suit, just color corrected.
That's significant. The color is the most important part of the suit. Come on, dude.
You're not a
How
briefs
many times
purist.
have the fan put out the same suit, but they color correct the image? And
You're not
you're
a
like, yeah,
briefs
why didn't they just do
purist.
that when they made the suit?
Let me ask you one ridiculous question,
Um,
real.
I can
What
rock
do you
with
think
or
about his
without it.
hair? Sort of not really a split curl, but it's not like slick back like Dean Kane. I kind of like it.
I like the S. I like the S and I like the gratuitous branding.
You you want
I got an S on his back. I got
you
an S
want
on
the
his
full on.
face.
You want
Look,
that
I tell
full
you,
on.
when it's too much for me is when they put the S on the belt. I don't need the S on the belt.
But his
That's too
hair
much.
is fine. You want an S in the hair.
Yeah, but I want it to feel natural, like not like he sits there and does it. Like I don't think Superman's sitting in a
Well,
mirror.
I, that's what I like about his. I feel like his hair is naturally curly, and it's gonna give you the S
Yeah,
without like him sitting there twisting it at the top before
right.
he
And
changes.
Gunn might actually give you one kind of like Michael Bay shot, Zack Snyder slow motion where his hair's like wind, and then you see the S in there, and I'll be like, okay, I can buy that, but I don't need a
Yeah,
gratuitous S. I don't. You can only handle so much S before it's like
too much S.
it's
Too
too.
much
Well,
S.
his yes, maybe too
It's
much S,
trying
but
too hard.
it's trying too hard, and the S on his chest is just a little kind of like
It's a little
congested.
thick. Well, what do you think? Do you like this S better though than Christopher Reeve? It's still more comic accurate than Reeve.
Well, it's cleaner lines.
It's not as.
No, it's too.
But honestly, I.
It feels too much like a cookie cutter punch. It's got no life to it.
Mhm.
Is the problem with that one? It's perfect, but it's perfect. It's not. It's too perfect.
It's too much like it was drawn on a piece of paper, not like it
Yeah,
has.
it's
Yeah.
cookie cutter.
Okay.
It's too perfect.
All right. Well, sorry everyone for laboring you through what was
What are you talking
supposedly very simple costumes.
about? Clark's is done. He said, hey guys, I knew asking if Jack wanted to.
Oh, make a
Hey man,
decision. But anyway, that's pretty much what we have so far
you
for
knew
this
what to
episode.
expect.
I know. Episode 3, Up and Away, James Gunn's Journey to James Gunn's Superman. We'll be back with episode 4. Hopefully sometime soon we'll get something that we have to talk about.
Well, the trailer's going to drop in a year, So at least sometime in the next year.
So I'll see you in a year.
Hey, man.
Or we might just come back and talk about the documentary,
Well,
which
look,
is coming out in October.
I'm really down for that. I'm trying to
Yeah.
see it in the theaters. If I can't find a theater nearby that's playing it, then yeah. I mean,
They'll probably show it at
but regardless,
somewhere in
we should talk
Hollywood.
about it when it drops and it's kind of more available to the masses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Jack said earlier, we do a show every Sunday going live. They're talking about
I don't know why you laughing about it. You know, you're one of like the biggest geeks I know.
uh,
You know
Jack
that, right?
Netflix's animated Terminator film.
It looks pretty
Ain't
good.
no one watching that.
Yo, it looks pretty
Well,
good.
I would love to hear you. Well, if anyone does watch it, you guys can hear them talk about it. But more importantly, not just the review, they go into geek stuff. They talk geek news. We're talking everything. I won't be there this Sunday, but they're going to talk about some really cool stuff. So definitely check us out on Sunday. Hit the playlist. We got toy unboxings. I got my Adam West Batman figure unboxing that's coming out tomorrow. Well, after this video, there
Take it
tomorrow.
easy on that diaper inspection. You're getting some comments in the chat lately.
Hey man, you got to inspect that. You gotta look at it.
Don't do it live. Don't do it.
I
Don't
won't
do it.
do it live.
We
I
don't need to
won't do
see
it
it. But
live. I
Lawrence
won't do it
goes
live.
deep, man. He deep dives these
We gotta
figures.
go in. We gotta go in.
Throw
I don't
me
know
out.
what we're doing here. Anyway, enough of this. I'm out of here. Jack is out of
Okay.
here. We've talked your head off. Peace.
Peace.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. We're talking